We can set the world on fire, fire. Set the world on fire, fire. We can set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire. Set the world on fire, fire. We can set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire, fire.
Got a monster inside of me, you better watch out if you ignite me. A road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling this war. Never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it.
Okay, now that music was quite terrible, actually. Hello, everyone. Mic check 1 2. Just checking in to see if anyone can actually hear me correctly. I can actually quite hear myself on my other types of device right over here and right now. So hello, welcome everyone. This is KID and I'm bringing you all another live stream review. So let me just remove this particular stream starting soon screen so you guys can all take a look at what we're going to be checking in today. So yes, this is what we're going to be checking out for our stream or our particular live stream review today. So if any one of you guys are new, so what I usually do on these type of live stream reviews is that for my particular channel, since it's located in Malaysia itself, hello Megadong. Yeah, so for my particular channel, since I am located in Malaysia itself, sometimes occasionally Malaysia actually will get early figures earlier than the US, including items like the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, occasionally the Marvel Legends, so on and so forth. So from there onwards, whenever we get anything new, whenever Malaysia gets anything new, what I would always do is that I would be making reviews so that everyone else can take a look at it before it gets released in other types of countries like the US, maybe even the UK, Germany, France, so on and so forth. However, one of the main downsides is that because I still collect the Power Rangers Lightning Collection itself as a personal collection, there will oftentimes be items that when they do come in to Malaysia itself, it will not be actually make a lot of sense for me to make a review of it because it would have already been late, like probably a couple of months or half a year as well. So that's why I have this particular concept of conducting a live stream review. This way, on all of these particular live stream reviews, what I will be mainly taking a look at would be the kits it makes no sense for me to make a video on where I could actually spend more time on making other types of unique content. So that's why we can just take probably like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or maybe even an hour to take a look at a figure itself. So if you were to check it out, if you want to know more about my particular channel itself, you can just feel free to check it out. Mainly most of the things that I would make content on would be the new and latest Lightning Collection figures. If they were to come to Malaysia early, I would also make different types of content with regards to the figurized standards, or specifically the premium Bandai figurized standards. So in the event where if no one is making content of those, I will be making that as well. That and also maybe a little bit of Gundam or exclusive types of Gundams, and of course the two different types of content that you basically will see would be the Kotobukiya, or the types of Kotobukiya Metabots kits that there are no reviews on it online. So yeah, that's mainly what it is. So hello Gurpreet, welcome to the stream. What do I do for a living and my education? Well, with regards to that, my education is all the way up until college/university level. As for what do I do for a living, am a product consultant. So since I am a product consultant, it just so happens that it is in line with what I am doing right now, which is reviewing a particular product. So I guess that should be it with all these particular introductions. I guess without further ado, just to make sure that everyone else is entertained, we all can begin over here. So right here, we'll just be taking a look at In Space Silver. So a little bit background of this. I actually got this figure, or I actually got this box like 2 weeks now, 2 weeks to a month now. It's just that I haven't had quite some time in making a live stream review itself. But yeah, this one is the In Space Silver with his own motorbike accessory. So similar to the other types of figures or the deluxe set kits, or the deluxe set of the Lightning Collection figures itself. So on the side here, we get a nice rendition of Zane, posing in his one of his traditional, or one of his how do you call it, well-known accurate poses. On the back of the particular box itself, we do get a image of what we will be getting inside of the box. We do get a new hit scope. We do get the Super Silverizer, both in blast mode and in slash mode. You have the particular figure as well with the 2 extra arms, and then you would also get the new Silver Cycle. So yeah, this is all what you'll be getting in here. And then of course you have a quite an interesting, or quite a nice product shot with relation to what you'll be getting inside the box itself. Over here, you don't really have anything else. But yeah, so one of the things that with relation to the Lightning Collection kits is that due to some for some reason the quality control on some Lightning Collection figures has really gone down. And because of that, a lot of the times when I go and pick up my kits from my particular dealer, that would be Gila Poster KL, not sponsored by the way, but I do get quite an interesting discount from him since I have been a customer of Gila Poster KL for quite a few years now. So what I would usually do is that I would check inside the contents before I take it home with me, because since I would have to more or less be driving to his particular store, which would be about like maybe 45 minutes to an hour depending on traffic itself. So I've already opened up this box. I've already checked to see whether if all of the accessories are here. Yes, they are. When I put it back in, it might not be in the exact same place. So if we were to open him up and if we were to slide him out right now, so this is what you would actually get from inside of the box itself. So just to let you all know, everything that you see here on the right hand side, that is the Super Silverizer, and then everything that you see here on the left hand side, this is where the Ranger is along with his accessories. So I guess since we are all over here right now, I think it would be much more better if we go through the accessories and the Silverizer first, and then after that we all can take a look at the bike. Now one thing to let you all know, it does have this particular paper rope or paper string wrap around this particular set itself, so you actually would have to remove it. All right, now let's just open this up and take a look. So again, these are all the what was I thinking of? Plasticless packaging. So these plasticless packaging does come with paper baggies over here. So that is one thing to take note of. Let me just move my particular review station table a little bit closer so that all of you guys can all see properly right over here. So these are actually what you'll basically be seeing. One of which is that is the Hasbro's initiative or attempt to try to save the planet by not using so much plastic. All right, so this is one of the bikes here, or this is basically the bike that does come with the whole set. As you notice, it's not entirely complete, but that's mostly because the parts are all in this separate baggie right over here. So let's just set this one aside here. Whoops, let's just set this one aside here. There is a kickstand, by the way, so if we want to make sure that it is standing, so that is one of the things that we can do right over here. So just by opening up this particular baggie, we do get a Silver Ranger. Yep, so we do get the Silver Ranger from Power Rangers in Space. So that one is quite nice. We will be taking a closer look at the particular figure. For now, we'll just make sure that he is standing in place right now. So this one is, I guess it's considered as another type of, no, one of my deluxe reviews or deluxe kits that I actually get from Hasbro itself. The reason why is that the other deluxe kits, sorry, the other deluxe sets, they don't actually come with a vehicle except for Time Force Blue. I do not have Time Force Blue yet. The reason for that is because Time Force Blue has not arrived in Malaysia as well. So hopefully when it does arrive, I do get a properly good Time Force Blue without all of the issues that has been popping up online when people did get Time Force Blue back in the day. Okay, so I have all of the items right around here. These are all of the different types of accessories. Let me just lower the camera down just a little bit so that way you guys can see Zane and everything else that he comes with. So so I guess just by going through tradition of all of my live stream reviews, I think the best way for me to do this is I would have to go through everything that you see in this particular set, starting with the main figure itself. That's number one. After that, then we can just focus on the other accessories. So just for now, I'll just be removing all of these particular additional items to the side. That one is just for now, of course. I don't believe the Silver Cycle can actually balance properly. So I'm just putting it on the side for now. This one is another accessory over here. Basically, all of the accessories will just be moved to the side right over here. So welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so just by going through each and everything else, so this is what we have here for today. We have the In Space Silver Ranger. Now, with regards to this In Space Silver Ranger, this this particular or the specific In Space Silver Ranger is actually a new mold. Now, I just, how do you say, I am gonna have to readjust my position because I don't really have any space to move my arms around to conduct this particular review. So you're gonna have to bear with me just for a bit more. Okay, so right over here, we do have the new mold or the In Space Ranger itself. He looks really good. Yes, he does. He definitely looks very good, especially since he actually is a new mold. Now, I do have the older In Space Silver Ranger that is not on the table right now. It's just actually underneath of the table. I would do a quick comparison between the old one and the new one over here. So this one is the new In Space Silver Ranger. So just by taking a quick look at his helmet, oops, just by taking a quick look at his helmet, mm, I don't know. I'm not too sure if it's actually a new mold or not, but one thing I can confirm is that the paint apps are actually quite different. So what do I mean by the paint apps being quite different is that the black on the helmet is dope, yes, but it's a bit off though. The visor on his helmet is a little bit too thin. So if you can look at these two blacks, if you can look at the black on his helmet itself, it's a little bit too thin. I just wish it would have been slightly bit enlarged or slightly bit bigger. So that's a tiny bit nitpicky gripe. But at least we do have a particular bump to actually show the symbol, the envelope symbol over here itself. So that is one thing to take note of. Everything else here that you see here on the side, I guess we are kind of lucky with, I guess for me, I kind of got lucky with regards to the helmet as well as the paint applications on the helmet itself. So I guess, yeah, that was quite a good thing. I guess almost everyone who got the In Space Silver from this deluxe pack all got the same visor being this, thin. Yeah, I guess that should be it. Yep. Okay, so that one is with regards to the helmet. Now, one thing that makes this kit, or one thing that makes this particular figure a new mold, is that this particular figure does have the new neck. So usually, or based on the old Lightning Collection figures itself, what happens with the neck is that the neck is always fused with the torso. But this time around, Hasbro has included extra articulation or extra points of articulation for the Lightning Collection itself. So now our neck here is a new piece altogether. So what I usually do when I want to remove the helmet is that I don't usually like to pull it out because just by looking at a lot of horror images of people with their broken necks of the figures itself. So I've always assumed that people always just pull the head out, which actually causes that problem. What I usually would do is that I would make the figure look up as high as it can, and then use the leverage of the back of the helmet to slowly push the helmet off. So if I were to do it like this right now, based on who is watching here, and just like that, you can just remove the helmet much more easily, and you won't have to worry about, popping off the particular joint on the neck area itself. But speaking of the neck area, this is a new neck mold, or this is one of the new molds that they are trying to introduce into the Lightning Collection. Now, from what I can understand, this one is based on like a dumbbell joint. So when I say dumbbell joint, it would be like this one would be a particular ball. Inside here would be a smaller ball that connects to this particular piece. And then at the bottom over here, or basically on the inside of this particular neck, it has the same feature or it has the same concept. So what you're going to have to do, so what would usually happen is that it allows you to turn the neck based on the direction that you would like to turn. That's number one. So that way, if you were to pose the figure with his neck turning, with his particular face or helmet turning around, the neck would also follow along. So this one just does give some realism to the action figure itself. So that is one thing for you to know. So without further ado, let's just pop the head back in, and then we can continue on with regards to the rest of the figure. Another thing that I have noticed is that the particular diamond or the gold diamond is actually quite centered, I believe. Maybe just a little bit off. It's just a slightly tiny bit off because it's following the line over here, or the point of this particular golden arrow here is pointed towards line, but I think it's more or less the chest or the boxes on the chest area is slightly a bit off. But yeah, at least it is, how do you call it? At least it is nicely painted. It's got a quite an interesting shine or quite an interesting gold on the particular figure itself. I don't believe it is a slightly more dull gold color, if I'm gonna have to say, because I have the the Walgreens version of the in space Silver Ranger right next to me, and I'm looking at it right now off camera, and I can actually quite see that the Walgreens version has a much more shinier gold. But if this is what if this doesn't actually bother you, you can just feel free to keep. So you can feel free to just purchase the Silver Ranger with the bike itself. Plus, it actually is quite a nice bonus to have the Silver Ranger with his particular bike. Up next, let's just check out the particular sides over here. So what I usually do whenever I get a figure out of the box is that I make sure to just slowly test the particular joints. So if I were to test the particular joints, just to make sure nothing is stuck or none of the plastic is actually melted. So that is one thing, or that I can make sure that everything is going actually quite all right. Here is the particular goal. It does connect the butterfly joints of the gold, so that way it doesn't break any kind of illusion. But unless if you were to take a picture from the side like this, it kind of slightly breaks the illusion. But oh well, it is a action figure after all. So the same thing always goes from here. You do have your standard articulation from the top part, nothing much new with relation to this. But the other thing that is considered quite new is that we all do get pinless joints. So if you can see, these new pinless joints basically make it look like these figures are not actually action figures, since you don't actually see the pins, and it does add some realism to the figure as well. So that is one thing for you to take note of. We do get our usual, side to side. I believe this is considered like a ball joint, since I'm able to do all of this. It's a little bit stiff, so I don't think I would go crazy with my figure. I think what I'll mostly do later on, once the stream has ended, I'll just, heat up the particular plastic, or maybe just give it a warm bath, just so I can loosen up all of the joints and make sure that I don't accidentally break them. Yeah, of course, pinless joints are awesome, man. Exactly, Megadong. Okay, so of course, you would still also have the usual app crunches over here. The Mega Belt, so Mega Ranger Belt. The particular belt does have the envelope shape looking. So in the event, if you still think that this is actually an envelope, I believe Japan or Sentai actually created this to look like an M. So more or less like from this side, and then goes down, up, and then down. So because, since this one, or since these are actually Rangers from the Mega Ranger season. Okay, now on to the on to the debatable topic, drop down hips. So of course we do have Zane. This, as I mentioned before, this is a new mold. Zane here does have the drop down hips mechanic. So a lot of the times, if the drop down hips, or if these particular parts, they do not have a good grip, or not to say a good grip, how would I put it? If the if there is no friction, and if the drop down hips are actually loose, then it would really be annoying to pose, because it just makes everything else a little bit off. So that's one thing to take note of. But if you have something like a what's the word I'm looking for? A lubricant that makes the joints tighter. If you have those, if you apply them to the drop down hips, it actually might work. So I don't have those. I haven't tried it yet, but you guys can actually try that out if you actually do have it in your country or in your particular region. So yeah, so these are the drop down hips. Mine are actually quite nice. They're not actually loose. The only downside that I can see, maybe there isn't a downside. Maybe it's just that I just need to do some, proper posing. The good thing about having drop down hips is that, how do you say, you can actually get more dynamic poses with drop down hips. Now, one of the main reasons that I say that is because let's say if on this side it wasn't a drop down hip, and if I were to just make a normal kick, so this is how high the kick would actually be, since it's not, specifically drop down. But if I were to just, drop this particular leg down, and then kick it up. And well, there's not much of a big difference, but you get what I mean. That's what the drop-down hips are actually for. It basically allows you to get a little more range, a little more posing range, a little more articulation, so to speak. So that is one of the main reasons that I actually like to have drop-down hips. But of course, to each their own. Most what do you call it? The only thing that makes these type of drop-down hips worse is if it's just loose. That's it. So long. If it's just loose, drop-down hips aren't really gonna be a very fun thing to do at all. Yep. So over here, up next, we also still do have the usual standard Lightning Collection legs. Well, not standard anymore since it's using the new mold, where it just doesn't have the pins. It just doesn't have the pins itself. And last but not least, you do get your standard Lightning Collection boots. I don't think there is anything wrong over here. One thing maybe I have noticed that maybe because they want to apply these gold parts or just to apply these gold paints on the boots. The boots, the top half of the boots is slightly bit yellow, or just this particular boot area is quite yellow, while the feet itself is actually quite, quite white. I think it's more white color or eggshell white color as compared to the boots, which the boots are actually quite like a cream color. So hopefully you guys are able to see this from my particular point of view. I think it looks more natural with the drop-down hips. Not much difference in range though. Exactly, Megadong. Exactly. So there isn't really much of a difference in range, but of course it really does make it look much more natural in regards to the posing or the posability of these particular figures. So yeah, so that is what we have with regards to the Zane figure. I do have the original Zane right here. I can definitely notice that once you pointed it out. Oh, yep, okay, that's good to know. I do have the original Zane here. So this is the Zane from the Walgreens set, Walgreens exclusive. Fun fact: in Malaysia we actually got Zane early as well. The Walgreens exclusive version. That's what I mean. So we actually do got Zane quite early. I've actually made a video about it as well the moment it came out. So let me know if you actually caught that video when I actually posted it during that particular time. But yeah, so this one is the Zane from the Walgreens exclusive. I actually can't believe that it took the US quite a while to sell the Walgreens exclusive Zane for it to appear, but I have noticed that Zane did actually a lot of people were able to find Zane, the Walgreens exclusive version in their particular store. So congrats to anyone who actually found it. Yeah, you remember that video? Oh, nice, nice, nice. That's good to know then. Okay, so one of the main difference here. Let me just take him out of his particular posing right here. So I actually just took this guy out from my shelf. So if you notice from my particular my usual figure reviews or from my usual videos here, you will know which shelf I am actually talking about. So I hope the camera is able to pick up the differences, but if not, let me just put these guys closer together. Okay, so first things first, the visor. So this is what I mean by why I feel that the visor is slightly bit thin. It actually kind of looks like the in-space red front part of the visor for the new one over here. But as for the older Walgreens version, I actually quite much more like it or much more prefer this helmet from the Walgreens exclusive version. As for the shininess, as for the shininess of the silver over here, I can't really seem to tell, or I can't really decide. But one thing is for sure, I guess just by holding these two in my hand, I feel like the deluxe version is a little bit more shinier, but the gold on the Walgreens version is actually is actually considered much more brighter and less darker tone over here itself. So I guess that point, the gold color goes to the Walgreens version. As for the images or as for the boxes on the chest, now one thing to let you know is that again, I do have the other in-space rangers. I do have the other in-space rangers right now on the floor, and I can guarantee you that the boxes that you see over here, more or less, they are the same size as the rest of the team. So they're all just tiny and a little bit thin little bit of boxes right at the chest area. And as for the the deluxe version, the boxes are much more bigger, they're much more bulkier, and it kind of actually, makes the figure looks better. If we were to compare these two side by side, uh, honestly, I still feel like the deluxe version takes the cake with regards to the decals or the box. I keep calling it box. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what it's called. But yeah, the deluxe version actually does win in this particular comparison, in my opinion. But of course, the goal is much more better on the Walgreens version, and the helmet is also much more better on the Walgreens version as well. If I were to, decide to switch the helmets together, maybe I suppose people would actually be able to, notice the difference, since the deluxe version is much more shinier than the Walgreens version. It's either that, or because I had the Walgreens version for longer, that the silver plastic actually, maybe it has gotten darker. Like how we've encountered white plastic turning yellow. Yeah, so maybe the silver plastic did that same process as well. I'm not too sure about the scientific term for it, but yeah, that is what might have happened. Let me just check. Yes, the paint scheme is different and the visor is different. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, so that is the small little comparison between the Walgreens version and the deluxe version. So so more or less we are just basically done with the Ranger figure itself. So let's just go through with the accessories. So of course, in this particular version, it already comes with weapon holding hands. That's quite standard, but these are not your typical weapon holding hands. These weapon holding hands are more or less, instead of them turning up and down, they just turn side to side. Yeah, so this is one of the weapon holding hands if anyone were to hold a gun, more or less. It's similar to the weapon holding hands that is basically obtained or basically comes with SPD Red, Jack. From SPD, he had those particular holding hands itself. Hello, Cosmic Fury. Welcome to the stream, Ranger Blocks. It's been a while, hasn't it? Okay, so this one would be over here. So those are the two different hands. Let's just take a look at the other hands here. So of course, it would not be a classic, or it would not be Zane if he did not have a karate chop hand to include in his particular poses. So that is nice to see that they did keep up with the tradition. So that's number one. He does come with one singular fist. I mean, we already have a lot of karate chop hands and a lot of fists as well. So, it's not so much of a surprise. I just really wish that they could have given us maybe like a thumbs up hand. I mean, that's mostly because in the Power Rangers Legacy Wars video game that I played, Zane, whenever he wins, he gives a thumbs up. So, just like how you should be for this particular live stream. Cosmic Fury release date prediction for Cosmic Fury. I absolutely have no idea. More or less, they might come out in the summer, might come out in the fall. I can't predict them, but they might come out in the fall, honestly. Right here, this is where we get our new Zane helmet. Oh, sorry, the Zane hit. This is more or less like our third Zane hit that we actually got. The first Zane hit actually. The first Zane hit actually came with the Walgreens version. The second Zane hit came with the 2-pack, the Psycho Blue, sorry, Psycho Silver versus the Blue Ranger. I'm sorry, I think I have forgotten where we've gotten the other. Oh, how did we get In Space Blue again? Was it In Space Blue with Psycho Silver, and then it came with a Zane Civilian hit? I think that was the set. So this makes it our third. Oops. So this makes it our third Zane hit. It's actually nicely sculpted and painted, or nicely molded and painted. You can see that the particular hair, is nice and white or nice and silverish. The eyes of the particular figure does make him look quite menacing. I'm not too sure if this actually looks like, or this actually looks properly like Justin Nimoy, but at least they tried, right? I mean, Justin Nimoy's young version hit did actually came out, around the 1990s or almost nearly the 2000s. So of course, you can't really blame them if they don't get his likeness. Yeah. Ranger Block. So am I getting the Dino Fury Blue Lightning Collection? Yes, I am getting the Dino Fury Blue Lightning Collection figure. Only problem is it's still not here in Malaysia yet, man. It's still not here in Malaysia. So of course I gotta wait for it to come in, and I'm already late. So basically I just missed out on making a review for that. So when I do get it, I'll just make a live stream review like this. So I hope to see you there itself. Okay, so we do have two accessories over here. Let's go with the Super Silverizer in its blast mode. So one thing that I have noticed just by holding this in my hand right now is that the black paint is much more better this time. I mean, one of the main gripes about the Lightning Collection for the in-space weapons is that the weapons are easily scrapable. I mean, the paint actually chips off fairly easily. So just by looking at how this is, I can see that they actually did take some time to put in, or did actually put in some proper black glossy paint. So that way, it doesn't actually chip off, or it doesn't actually rub off if you were to touch it too much, or if you were to rub it too much. So that is one thing that is quite nice. It still has a particular peg hole for you to put any kind of effect piece. So you can just take any random effect piece from the Lightning Collection and then put it over here itself. Yep, Super Silverizer is definitely very badass. Up next, you also do have another type of weapon. I think mine is a little bit bent out from the box. So that is quite disappointing, but not to worry. Just make sure you add in, or just make sure you put this particular weapon or any kind of plastic into boiling hot water. So whenever, I'm not too sure how everyone does it overseas, but for us, we would always have like a kettle or like a water heater that keeps hot water. So in the event if you would like to drink hot water or like some hot tea or coffee, make something instant, you would always have hot water ready. So when I say hot, that would be like freshly boiled hot water. So you just dump the plastic in, let it be there for like a minute or two, or maybe even lesser. When you take it out, you'll be able to bend the plastic. You'll be able to bend the plastic much more easily. And once you're done bending it, you can just, run some cold water on it so it can keep its position. Yep. So again, you still get the same, nice glossy black paint here, so it doesn't chip. I'm using my fingernail here, just properly trying to scratch it, and yeah, I can't really make a proper dent in it, so that's good. Again, you still, as for the silver part, I'm a little bit worried that this silver part is not, or it doesn't have that protection treatment like the black part area over here. But we can also see that this is a nice, translucent blue plastic. So let me just teach you some engineering here. Hello, LeBron Fett. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while, long time no see. How have you been? As I was mentioning, yep. So how they actually make this particular figure, or how they actually make this particular weapon, is that this whole weapon here itself, is actually a translucent blue plastic, or it's made out of a translucent blue plastic. So this translucent blue plastic weapon, afterwards, once they're done making it, then they will paint the areas that actually needs painting. So that way you get to still have this nice look to him. Yeah, it actually does kind of look like a lightsaber, but holding from the side over here. Yeah, it actually does give off the lightsaber hue. So in the event, if you want to see the main comparison as to find out how these things flip out, well, you now basically know this is where the blade would actually be. So once it flips out, the bullet area would or the nozzle, the tip of the weapon would most likely slide back in here. So if you actually do have the um how do you say, if you actually do have the old deluxe version, maybe that's how it works. Sorry, I don't have chat available on the stream itself. Kind of forgot about it. But if any one of you were to rewatch this particular stream, maybe the chat would still actually be there. So LeBron Fed. Oh, no worries at all. No worries at all. Everyone's been busy. It's better plastic than the lightsabers. That's nice to know then. All right. Okay. So all right. So I guess that's it with regards to the Silver Ranger with his main accessories. Now we go, excuse me, now we can take a look at the main star of the show, which would be his bike. I forgot what the name of his bike was, and I also forgot what it actually is originally called. So one of the first few things that you actually have to do, I don't think that is a proper instruction that came with this. Let me just double check the box, shall we? Maybe one of the extra blurb does come with a instruction. Yeah, no, it only just came with your typical Lightning Collection or Hasbro paperwork that just tells you all of the legalities and whatnot. But I guess we can actually figure this out. So since we do have a particular hole here and we do have a main peg here, we can just basically slide that peg in itself. I believe we just mainly have to make sure that we line these up properly together. So I guess that's number one. Maybe step two would then be would be for us to put the what's the word called, the handles, the bike handles. Now one thing I just need to make sure is that um yep, okay, so it makes sense. The bike handles actually go this way. It does move towards you as the rider itself. Just gotta make sure that I can put this in, whoops, properly, and make sure I don't accidentally break anything else. In the event if you do have some items that are a little bit too tight, you can just, since they're all plastic anyway, you can just put them in hot water, and then afterwards you should be good to go. Uh, yeah, maybe it might be a good idea if I were to do this off stream or off camera, just so that I don't accidentally break something on camera. That would definitely be very embarrassing. Let me just do this a little bit slightly for a while off camera, while pay attention to the Power Morphicon poster, or maybe even pay attention to the Silver Ranger right here. While we are working on this off camera, let me know, where are you guys from? What time is it right now over there? As I mentioned before, I am from Malaysia, and it's currently 11:30 at night right now. You did a review for Ollie on Monday? Nice, nice. I'll check it out later on after the stream, man. Yeah, just feel free to link it to me in the chat, or maybe in one of my other videos, and then that way I can check it out itself. Good on you, man. Good on you. Okay, so this one would be, I've already placed the particular handles on the bike, so that one is nice. And I guess last, oops, I almost dropped this. This one does come separately. I do have a little bit of a paint chip over here, but I think honestly, it's not gonna bother me at all. So from here, let's just slowly push in the particular head. Not sure if it's actually properly in. Oh, okay. So you don't actually need to push it super far in. You just just slide it in, and then you more or less should be fine. You can't wait for Japan World Heroes. The actor for Ultraman Gaia will be there. Ooh, that's actually nice. I remember Gaia. I actually watched that when I was a very young boy. Ultraman Tiga. I've watched Tiga, Dinah, and Gaia when I was a young boy. Honestly, did not know what they were actually talking about on screen, but it was a nice thing to take a look at, because action and tokusatsu itself. Okay, so this one here is the particular Super Silver bike, I guess, or the In Space Silver Ranger bike. It is nicely, nicely molded, nicely sculpted, with all of the engineerings of what a bike could, of what a bike could have. Just by having the light shine upon this area, this kind of reminds me of a little bit of an Autobot logo. Just a little bit, not exactly an Autobot logo, but just a little bit. One good thing about this is that we do get some rubber tires. Rubber tires are always good on, some toys itself, but I'm not too sure about the rubber tire quality nowadays. Hopefully these actually don't break or deteriorate after a very long time. So if any one of you collectors, just keep these particular figures in box, hopefully, those rubber tires don't actually deteriorate in the box over there itself. In the show, or in the In Space show, they actually had the bike transform into a glider, and then we actually had one of those old toys. We actually had one of those old toys where the glider also turned into a bike as well. But since we are collecting a premium quality, or since we are collecting a premium set over here, we it makes sense for us not to actually get not to actually get the transformation gimmick. Of course, similar idea to the SH Figuarts. Since how sometimes a lot of the times SH Figuarts, they avoid transformation gimmick just so you can have something as accurate as you can from the show itself. So that's why we have it right here, or that's why we have this one right over here. But since I have the Blue Ranger Deluxe figure, and honestly, I have no intention of having it itself. I have an idea that actually came to me just now. Maybe instead of selling my In Space Blue figure with the Galaxy Glider, that's the name, right? Galaxy Glider. Yeah. Maybe instead of selling the In Space Blue figure with the Galaxy Glider, perhaps I can just, reuse the In Space Blue body mode for something else. Maybe even a very nice Blue Ranger from the Super Sentai series that maybe Hasbro hasn't adapted or might not even adapt. That's one of my main ideas, and then just use the glider painted silver, and that way the wall green version would actually have a silver ranger glider to actually glide on. Maybe that's a good idea. Perhaps. Just an idea if I have time to paint in the future itself. Let's just check on chat just for a little bit. Autobot symbols in Hasbro toys. Yeah, it's almost like a hidden Mickey. Remember Disney Channel where they used to do that? Hidden Mickeys. I don't have Disney Channel anymore, or I haven't watched that for a very long time. Do they actually still do that? If you guys still watch the Disney Channel, or if the Disney Channel still exists, Ranger Stop is awesome. Whoa, Ranger Stop. Honestly, I have not been to any conventions in the US. Actually, I have not been into the US in general. I really would like to. It's just very expensive for us people in Southeast Asia to go all the way to the US, which is almost like a full 12 hours. Sorry, not 12 hours, nearly 24-hour flight. I believe. I have not been. I do not know how long it takes from people from Malaysia to travel all the way to the US. But I really would love to go there, probably for Power Morphicon, maybe even go there for all of the other conventions like San Diego Comic Con, so on and so forth. I actually got that Power Morphicon poster, just by doing the online version where the Legacy Lord Dragon figure was out. So I only just bought that, and I got that as one of the souvenirs. You want to come to my country? Sure, man. Come on up. Come on by. I mean, if you're so long as you're in a foreign country, your currency would be much more higher than Malaysia. So typically, you would be considered quite rich in a way. More or less the conversion rate on a lot of imported items, they're more or less the same, but you would be able to eat like a king, more or less, because Malaysia is also one of those countries in Southeast Asia which is well known for their food. And I'm not talking about those weird looking type of, I'm not talking about those unique or maybe even considered weird type of food. Those are just proper normal food. And then if you are a daring person, yeah, feel free to try the food that you are not actually used to itself. Oh man, that's too bad. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. I guess no, I think with time, all of us, we will be able to become who we want to be. But yeah, that's mostly it with regards to this one here. Okay, so I guess the next thing we need to do is we gotta try to pose him on the bike over here itself. Based on the product shots from the boxes, we just straight see the Silver Ranger just sitting, not really properly sitting, but just standing over here itself. So I guess the best way to have this particular figure to sit, or so-called sit on his bike, is to actually stand on it. I assume this particular area is where you're supposed to rest his legs. So let's just try that one over here. No? You don't think so? Maybe not? Okay then. Maybe instead of just letting him stand right here, I just, I'll just have to bend his knees just for a little bit. I kind of like the concept. Actually, I kind of like the idea of just turning my In Space Blue into a In Space Silver Galaxy Glider, because I honestly don't think that Hasbro would make the other Galaxy Gliders, if you know what I mean. Like yeah, they won't make the Galaxy Gliders for the other Rangers. I am having trouble trying to bend this knee. Okay, you know what? I'm just not gonna bother bending this knee first. Maybe the plastic isn't really properly primed or properly ready. So yeah, once you have him in a seating position like this, or once you have it almost something like this, again, I might have an issue with this knee, so I just bend this one even more right now. That way you can have the figure, kind of sit on it, sit on it. Then afterwards you can just, pose the arms properly, just so that he can more or less hold the particular handle. Yep, you can actually kind of just slide the hand over the handle like so. Yep, so you have it right here. And once you have, once you are able to do that, let me just increase the height of my camera just so all of you guys can see. The knee looks tight. Yes, exactly. It's, what do you call it? It's very, very, very tight. He felt short. He definitely felt short. Okay, so yeah, so this is how you'll be able to, have the particular figure right here. Um, hmm, it's not as the leg, oops, sorry, the leg position over here is not actually as straightforward as the SPD Omega Rangers leg position, if you know what I mean. For that particular bike, it was very easy to pose, but for this one, not so much. But what I actually kind of like, what I like about this bike is that, if you were to turn the handle, the wheel also turns along. And that way, it will actually be funny for anyone who were to take any kind of stop motion shots. They would have to take into consideration of the particular figure not moving away from his particular seat itself. But yeah, this one is actually quite nice, and actually, yeah, it's definitely quite nice. It's nice looking. It's pretty good in general. Let's just try and see if we can get a nice pose. Maybe if I just remove the kickstand. Yeah, more or less something like this, I guess. Oh man, I'm not really quite used to posing figures with their bikes. But at least the kickstand does, have a nice sound to it in general. Let's just have the particular feet posing properly. So that's one over here. And then I guess if this particular area, if do end up figuring out why is my feet or why that particular part of the leg is considered quite tight, then more or less I'll be able to pose him correctly. So yeah, he is kind of a little bit tall looking, I guess. Maybe it's just because of this leg right over here. Yeah, so there we go. We have In Space Silver with his deluxe cycle. He's a little bit too far. I'll just bring him closer a little bit more. Really looking forward to more of these deluxe figures. You really like the bikes. I think Wild Force Red was supposed to come out, but it's been pushed back now. Yeah, I think I've heard of that about Wild Force Red as well. Either it was pushed back or maybe it was cancelled. I'm not too sure. I remember Josh from the Toku Topics. I remember Josh from Toku Topics. He did mention something about that as well. So either it's not coming anymore, or maybe it was cancelled, and maybe it wasn't supposed to come with a bike, but maybe it was supposed to be like a type of battleizer at some point. Yeah, I guess we won't know unless if you know someone actually that works in Hasbro to actually leak out that information for you. So yeah, these are the two different versions, the Walgreens versions and the deluxe version. So just so if any one of you guys want to take a quick screenshot, you can just take that screenshot if you guys want. More or less, I'll just be taking a picture of this particular look right after the stream itself. But since we do have these two Silver Rangers over here, I actually have taken the liberty to gather the whole entire gang right out of the shelf. So here we go. So here we go. We do have the In Space Red from the 2-pack with Astronomer. That's number one. Let's just put in with his girlfriend or potentially love interest from the show. We do have Ashley. Ashley does have a little bit of problem with her legs. I haven't, properly corrected it yet, but what you gonna do, eh? These were all from last year. These are the figures that came from last year. So yeah, that one is Ashley over here. Let's get one of my favorite Rangers to appear over here as well. This one here, sorry, this one now, we do have Cassie. Cassie is quite a nice or interesting character that we can all basically view over here. Then we do have TJ. This is the TJ from the Okay, I remember now. This is the TJ from the deluxe TJ, the one that came with his Galaxy Glider. Because I think I switched it. I think I can't really quite remember now. And this is the problem if you have multiple duplicates. You actually forget where you put your original or whether did you switch the items or not, just so you can make a better figure. And right now we all have Carlos. Yeah, so we have Carlos right here. We do have Cassie. Let's put Cassie on the side over here a little bit. I guess we just move these guys a little bit more to the side so that way everyone can get in on this particular shot. And if I were to, do the focus properly, maybe we can just immediately just imagine the focus would just be on the Silver Ranger at the back. But this is where the Walgreens version can actually kind of slide in between the whole set. So yeah, we do have, so this basically allows us to complete the full entire in space team of the Lightning collection. And honestly speaking, it is quite a nice sight to behold as well. Imagine seeing all of these particular Ranger figures from the television, and now you have them properly as action figures, especially super posable action figures as compared to the version that came out in 1998. At least I think it came out in 1998. I was a kid then. I can't remember which year they debuted it in. But yeah, that one is basically the whole entire team. I'll more or less take a nicer screenshot, or I'll more or less take nicer pictures just so I can add it to the thumbnail of this particular video. Of course, since this one is the Silver Ranger with the bike, or this one is his video. So let's just, oops, there she goes. Let's just put these guys all the way together. Oops, at the back. I'm just dropping things up, down, left, and right. Okay, so the team is right here at the back, just making sure everyone is all nicely posed for the particular thumbnail. Let me, oh yeah, by the way, let me know what you guys think of this particular live stream reviews. You guys can just chat with me while I tell you what I'm basically working on, or what do I think about the particular figure, without actually me wasting almost like a week of my time trying to make a proper video about it. There's nothing better than getting the whole team. Exactly. Yes, I also would like to see Dark Spectre, and if Hasbro wants to milk us for our money, they would more or less make Malagor and Dark Spectre and then repurpose it, or just rename the packaging. They more or less would be able to do that. Let me just check out the other stream. Sorry, let me just check out the other messages that I have not been able to go through via the chat itself. Let me just try to pose this figure a bit here on the side. So it's definitely very hard to just make this figure stand like a cool thing. Perhaps I'll just leave my fingers here, and then hopefully they can stand in place like this. Hopefully. I'll just do that. I'll just do that a little bit later. Yep, actually this one, it kind of works. Kinda. And maybe if I just slide the Silver Ranger over here a little bit, that way he just covers up the Walgreens version, and you can see the rest of his team in the background. I'll just check on the chat just for a little bit, yeah. Let's just see what would be my Dream Lightning collection, Dream Lightning releases. So I think for my Dream Lightning releases, honestly, I am not really that picky. I don't think I'm picky. If I were to be picky, I would most likely prefer to have the comic book Rangers. So, because the comic book Rangers are, kind of exclusive or more or less. Maybe some Sentai characters that may or may not have appeared in the comics as well. Since Japan never actually makes proper action figures like this, they mostly focus on the mecha or the robots. If you guys don't know what the word mecha actually means, let's see. Your Dream Lightning collection figure would be a better Zordon, one with that's more size accurate and maybe some lights or something. Oh, you're talking about Zordon from his tube. I'm actually thinking of Zordon from the comics, where he actually has a type of body, or maybe even the younger version of himself as well. That one would actually be a nice figure to keep, or a nice figure to actually have. It'll be awesome. You want a Dark Spectre? Nice, nice, nice. There's nothing better than the whole team. Imagine a Dark Spectre, deluxe Dark Spectre. Ooh, that would be very big itself. It'll be really good alongside these guys, Astroma and Eclipse. Oh yeah, that is quite good. That is exactly good. I hope they don't do something like a HasLab thing where they make a super giant Dark Spectres just so you can fight with the Astro Megazord or the Zap collection or the Zord Ascension Projects Zap, like Zap Megazord itself. Man, if Zap Megazord does appear in my country, oh, it's gonna cost a lot more money. It's gonna cost a lot of money, believe it or not. Do you think Hasbro will do remasters for figures after MMPR, Magna Defender with pinless joints and a mic hit? I guess maybe, if Hasbro really, if okay, so let's say this, perhaps they might have a team that is in charge of the remastered versions, right? If they have a team that's in charge of the remastered versions or the remastered figures, maybe, right? But then if they only just have a general team that just makes all of these kind of characters, then maybe not. Who knows? Maybe who knows? Maybe we won't be able to see them until another type of anniversary, because this is a Mighty Morphin anniversary this year, right? Like this is like the 30th anniversary, if my math is correct, and then maybe perhaps next year or in 3 years from now when we reach to a Zeo anniversary, then we might get a remastered Zeo series. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's if we keep on coming out remastered series so early without the other figures appearing, it kind of would remove that novelty of having a remastered series. Yeah, I guess if anyone was smart enough at Hasbro, they might actually do that itself. You want a vessel too? You want a vessel too? Mega would be awesome. Yep. I didn't think of the ones from the comics. Yep. Lord Zed literally got a raisin form exactly. So, if they were to just decided to sell us another Lord Zed with his green tubes, because in the comics he got his hands on the Chaos Crystal, right? The green Chaos Crystal, and then he suddenly had green tubes instead of blue. So maybe if they sell us that Lord Zed and the Lord Zed that has a Ranger form, then yeah, I guess that makes sense for them to sell a 2-pack of Lord Zed. Yep, yep. I'll check out the link on the video. Yeah, LeBron, the Vessel versus Ranger Zed. Oh yeah, that one is actually quite interesting. Wow. I guess everyone here all has the same mindset. All of us, we all have the same brain cell when it comes to whatever types of figures that we are all trying to look forward to on the Lightning collection. And honestly, I just do hope that not everyone, always keeps giving negative comments on the Lightning collection. It's more or less like uh, throughout the time, things will get better, things will get worse. Hasbro would find a middle ground on what they want to do, and then they will basically do it for us. Just I think with time we will be able to see new and awesome figures in general. Yep. Yep. But I guess that one should be it for today. Thank you so much for joining in on the stream, LeBron Fett, Megadong, and anyone else who is watching this particular video after the fact. If you guys like this type of content, feel free to like the particular video, comment it after the fact. And of course, if you want to know more about the contents that I make, feel free to subscribe. Of course, I will be making content, more or less once a week, more or less like that. Yeah, hey, thanks for joining on the stream, man. Thanks for making it very interesting for me. And I hope it's not super early. You know what I mean? Like because it's nighttime for me. It's nighttime for me, so of course it's considered quite late for me. So I always try to find the middle ground with regards to all these kind of live streams. And of course, if I do have free time next week, either on Friday or maybe even Saturday morning, before you know it, you might even be able to see another live stream on this particular guy at the back right here. I don't want to move the figures because I have them perfectly set for a thumbnail picture later on. Yeah, it's a nice noon there, right? What do you call it? It's Friday noon on your side, I believe. So yeah, thank you all for joining in so much on the stream. Hope you all have an enjoyable the rest of your day. My Saturday is starting in more or less like 1 minute because it's 11:59 p.m. right now on a Friday. So yeah, I guess that should be it from me. This is KID and the Man, and thank you all so much, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
I got a piece of my heart that's covered in gold. You know I'm one of a kind, or so I've been told. No matter where we go, I know we're gonna make it. No matter where we go, I know we're not alone. We face it all cause now we know that we can take it. We face it all cause we go big or we go home. Dance like you made it, you found